Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well and Happy New Year. Welcome to the very first TBR video of the year. It is time for our January TBR. I hope you guys are excited. I love TBR videos. They are my absolute favorite videos to film. They're my favorite videos to watch, and 2026 is no exception. We are gonna do them all. We're gonna do a TBR video every single month. Mark my words. So I hope you're excited because I'm really excited for 2026 reads. If you watched my recent video of the 26 books that I want to read in 2026, you will recognize a lot of them on this TBR cart right now because I put a lot of them on this TBR cart because I want to start off strong. I want to start checking off TBRs from my yearly TBR, my January TBR, every single month. So I've put a lot of them, if not most of them, on this TBR cart, and I'm really excited to get to a lot of these this year. So this month, we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different. Normally, I use the TBR jar for my TBR videos every single month. However, this month, we're going to switch it up just a little bit, and we're going to use the TBR cards. So these are TBR cards that I got in my advent calendar vlogs. I don't remember which week exactly I unwrapped this gift, but it was one of the gifts that my husband has wrapped for me for my advent calendar vlogs. And it's just basically like playing cards, and they just have a bunch of TBR prompts on them. So I thought it would be fun to use these this time, and as always, we're going to be picking 6. Now there is already a book number 7 on my January TBR, and that is The Awakening, the first book in the Zodiac Academy series, because I am buddy reading this series, and so we are reading the first book in this series. So this one is already on my January TBR, as all the Zodiac Academy books will be for every month moving forward. Hopefully I do end up reading them, otherwise I'll have to catch up, but I'm fairly certain that I will complete whatever book in the Zodiac Academy series is chosen for that month. So that's the first book out of 7, and now we're going to choose 6 more off of the TBR cart using the TBR cards. So let's get into the video. Okay, so I have shuffled these a little bit, and I think I'm just going to randomly choose them kind of facing your direction instead of my direction, so I don't know what they are. And we're just going to like randomly pull and see if we can find a prompt that fits some of these books that I have here on the cart. So let's get started with the first one. I'm just going to randomly pick. I can't see what they are, but there's one right here that I'm going to pick. Can you see what that is? Oh, it's upside down. Read a book that is out of your comfort zone. So the first prompt says, read a book that is out of your comfort zone. So there are quite a few that are out of my comfort zone on this TBR cart, and now most of these are not out of my comfort zone in terms of like the genre, but some of them are out of my comfort zone in terms of like the length and like the size of the book. So for this, I have a couple of options. I think I could choose this one, maybe this one, maybe this one. So I think for this prompt, I'm going to choose between these 3 books. The first one is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, and this was on my 2025 TBR. I added it back to my 2026 hopefuls list, and this one would be kind of like out of my comfort zone in terms of like how much this book will make you cry, and it's also a very long book. The next one that I have on here is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This is another one that's on my 2026 TBR that I did not get to in 2025, and the reason for that is because of the length and how like chunky this book is. And then the last one is The Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole, which is the first book in the Gods and Monsters series. And the reason why this book is out of my comfort zone is because I heard that even though this book looks short, like relatively short, it's actually reading very long because it's like super densely packed with the font and like everything that's going on and stuff. So it's kind of a slow read, which I'm a little bit afraid of because of like the time that it will take to read. So between these 3 books, I think the one that is most out of my comfort zone, I think I'm gonna go with The Book of Azrael, just because I just don't know what to expect when it comes to this book, and I definitely want to like kind of read this book in the beginning of the year sooner rather than later. So that's going to be the first book, technically second book, that we're adding to our January TBR, which is The Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole. All right, let's do this again. Hopefully they are not upside down this time, but let's see what the next one is going to be. Let me say this one here. Okay, what does that say? Read a book set in or around a school. Okay, read a book set in or around a school. That's a good one. Let me see what we have here. So I do have Arcana Academy. I'm not sure, is this a school? I think this is dystopian, so I don't think this is a school. But she is in an elite training program. I'm not sure if that counts as like being a school. So I think maybe, I'm not sure. We have this, definitely. I think that's going to be it because I'm not sure if Quicksilver, I don't think Quicksilver is set in a school. I don't think One Dark Window is set in a school. I don't think On Wings of Blood is set in a school. I'm not sure about Riftborn. I know this one is not. And I don't think any of these other ones are, but maybe this one, maybe Binding 13 is set in a school because I think they are in high school. So maybe I'll add this one as well. Oh, and this one, for sure this one. So I have 4 to choose from for this prompt. The first one is The Curse That Binds by Laura Thalassa, which is the 3rd book in the Bewitched series. This is technically like the prequel, but it was published 3rd. I read the first 2. They're both in the Witch Academy setting, so I'm assuming this one is as well. And I just really, really love this series, so I don't know what I've been sitting on and why I haven't read this book yet. So this is the first option. The next option I have is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh, and I think these characters are in high school, so I'm pretty sure that this is set in high school, so also a school setting. Next I have Onyx Storm, which has been on this TBR cart for months and months and months, and has been on several TBRs. This is the 3rd book in the Empyrean series, and they are learning to be dragon riders in like this sort of like Dragon Rider Academy, something like that. I didn't pick this book up for a long time because the 2nd book has put me in a slump, and for whatever reason I decided to reread it in the beginning of January of last year. So it ended up putting me back in a slump, and then I never picked up the 3rd one, but that's an option. And then the last one is Arcana Academy by Elise Kova, which I have actually already started twice, but I soft DNF'd it twice because this one, for whatever reason, this one I just wasn't getting into. It felt like there was nothing really underneath the surface, but they are set in like this school where they're learning like tarot magic and how to ink cards and stuff like that. And it's a very interesting magic system. However, I'm just not getting into this book as much. So I think I'm going to put this one off just a little bit longer because I feel like I need to be in a very analytical mindset for this one, and I'm just not quite there yet at this moment, but I know I will get there eventually. So I think I'm going to put this one off a little bit longer. And from the 3 of these, I think I'm going to go with Onyx Storm because I'm honestly embarrassed of like not having read this yet. So I think this is going to be the one that I choose for a book set in or around a school. That's book number 2. Let's do the next one. Book number 3. Let's do maybe one on this side. This guy right there. What is that? Empty. So we pulled a blank one, which is an ace, which I'm going to use as a free pick, kind of like a mood read free pick. And which one am I in the mood for right now? So for this, I think I'm going to choose this one, Branded by Saffron A. Kent. And this is a dark cowboy romance. And I feel like I'm just in the mood right now in this moment for like a dark cowboy romance. I don't know why. It's very random. It's very strange, but this one looked good to me. I picked it up for my book haul, and I'm just kind of like wanting to read this right now. So I'm going to pick this dark cowboy romance and just kind of see how we like this. I have not read anything by this author before, so this is going to be a new author for me. So I really hope that I like this one, but this is going to be book number 3 for our free pick. Let's go for number 4 right here. Oh, they're facing me. They're supposed to be facing you. So let's go for number 4 right here. Sorry, this is not super aesthetic, but let's pick another one. Let's maybe go with this one here. What's that say? Read a book set in a hotel or inn. Read a book set in a hotel or inn. That's interesting. I'm not sure that I have one because I mostly have fantasies on here, but let's see. Ooh, this one maybe. Okay, so this one might not be set in a hotel or inn. I don't think any of the books on here are actually set in a hotel or inn, but I think this is going to be the closest one that I can choose because she is a traveling musician and she goes to Ireland, and he has inherited a pub and he's like the new owner of this, like something called the Local. So it's supposed to be a romance between them. I'm assuming since she's a traveling musician and she travels to Ireland, she's going to be staying at a hotel or inn. So I think this is the closest thing that we can choose when it comes to this prompt, because I don't think any of the other fantasies that I have on here are anywhere near that prompt. So this is going to be book number 4, Last Call at the Local by Sarah Grunder Ruiz, because this is the closest thing that we can choose for a book set in a hotel or inn. All All right, let's go for prompt number 5. Maybe this one in the back here. Back here. This guy right there. What does that say? Read a book that matches your shirt. Okay. Read a book that matches your shirt. So I'm wearing a black sweater today, so something black, which we have a lot of options for this one. I also have a gray tank top underneath, so maybe that's going to be kind of like narrowing it down a little bit. And for that, I think I might have this as an option. Kind of blue, but maybe a little bit of gray. This. How about that? It's got a pop of red. So for this one, I'm going to choose between these 4 because they're all kind of like black and gray. And the first option I have is Silver Elite by Danny Francis. Then we have Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Then we have When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. And then finally, Lady of Darkness by Melissa K. Rourke. And I think I know which one I'm going to pick for this because this is another one that I'm kind of embarrassed as to like why I haven't read it this long yet. And that's going to be Silver Elite by Danny Francis. Yeah, Silver Elite by Danny Francis. This has been on many TBR carts, many TBRs, and I just kept putting it off and I still haven't read it. So we are putting it on yet another TBR. It's got gray and silver on the cover and it's mostly black. So that's going to be the next one. All right, let's do the final one. Book number 6. Let's see what that's going to be. Maybe this one right here. Read a book that was originally self-published. So read a book that was originally self-published. What was originally self-published? So anything indie published, I guess, that got picked up to be traditionally published. And I think I have a few on here. I know that this one did get picked up for traditional publishing because it's coming out in a special edition. Same with this one, I think as well, and this one for sure because I have the indie published version of that. So these are the options that we're choosing from. I'm pretty sure, I'm like 90% sure that these were all originally indie published and have now been picked up for traditional publishing. And the first book on this list is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I know that there is I think this is now traditionally published because she's coming out with a new book and it's coming out in like a special edition. And I'm also pretty sure there's a special edition for this as well. So that's option number 1. The next one I have is Game Changer by Rachel Reed. I'm pretty sure this was also indie published at some point in time, and now it's traditionally published by Carina Press or whatever this is. So that's another option. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. We also have Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider, which this is also the indie published version, and I'm pretty sure it's traditionally published now, and there's like a special edition with pretty sprayed edges that's coming out soon as well. Same thing goes for Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher, also coming out with like a new pretty sprayed edge special edition and a second book in the series. And then finally Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I do have the indie published of this, but I did also order the traditionally published version of this by Forever. But I think from this stack, I'm gravitating most towards Game Changer by Rachel Reed, which is the first book in the Game Changer series, because I already have 3 long fantasies on here, so I'm going to make it kind of like 50-50, 50% fantasy, 50% romance, and this is a male hockey romance that now has a TV adaptation that I really want to watch, which is supposed to be amazing. So I want to read these first 2 books first before I watch that show, which is called Heated Rivalry, and the second book in the series is Heated Rivalry, so hopefully I'll be able to read that in January as well and then be able to watch the show. So I'm adding Game Changer to the January TBR. So let's do a super quick recap of the books that we're going to be reading in January. The first one is going to be The Awakening, the first book in the Zodiac Academy series by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. Then for a book that was originally self-published, I chose Game Changer by Rachel Reed. That's book number 2. Then for a book that matches your shirt, I chose Silver Elite by Danny Francis. Then for a book set in a hotel or inn, I chose Last Call at the Local by Sarah Grunder Ruiz. Then for my free pick, I chose Branded by Saffron A. Kent, which is a dark cowboy romance. Then for a book set in or around a school, I chose Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, book 3 in the Empyrean series. And then for a book that is out of your comfort zone, I chose The Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole because I just don't know what to expect with this book in terms of timing and length and all that stuff. So it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. So here are the 7 books that we're hopefully reading in January. Please let me know if you've read any of these or if any of them are on your January TBR, or just let me know what's on your January TBR in general. I would really love to know. If you've made it to this part in the video, please leave me a hockey stick emoji for Game Changer because this is the book that I'm most excited for on this TBR. And let me know if you've read this and if you're watching the show, because I definitely want to watch the show as soon as I read these 2 books. So let me know if you're also doing that. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.